to another impactful lesson on Stoic philosophy. Have you ever considered how it's possible to break down a person's ego without speaking? As if simply withdrawing could destroy their arrogance, like a castle that wasn't as sturdy as it appeared. Imagine if staying quiet could have a greater impact than any disagreement. Imagine if not speaking could be the biggest defeat they've ever experienced, deeply disturbing their self. Importance. This seems like an unrealistic daydream, doesn't it? Well, it isn't. Today, we're exploring the Stoic method of using quietness as a tool. Can be a way to mend yourself and regain your control, not to cause harm. This isn't about being sneakily hostile or manipulating others. It's about recognizing the inner power you have, the power that helps you stay composed and peaceful, letting a lack of words speak volumes. The wise Marcus Aurelius wisely pointed out that the smartest way to react to fury is with quiet. Think about the control you have when you decide not to get involved in the mess, when you opt out of someone else's theatrics. It's similar to standing strong in the middle of a tempest, remaining steady and calm amidst chaos. Your quietness reveals their own self-doubts, making them confront their vulnerabilities. Picture a relationship where the bond is weakening, fading slowly as self-importance and arrogance become dominant. The affection that once nourished your connection is now hidden by disagreements and things left unsaid. You've attempted to revive that love, but every try is blocked, as if the more someone tries, the less they seem to achieve their goal. Now, imagine what would occur if all efforts ceased, when you withdraw and allow your lack of action to communicate for you. The small spark of interest they had is extinguished. The reality of you not being there, the quiet they believed they could manage, becomes a significant obstacle, deeply impacting their pride. However, before we explore the methods and guidelines for this life-changing approach, I have a task for you, assuming you are prepared to harness the strength of this concept. Be quiet and let it help you. Write "My silence is my strength" in the comments. This isn't just words. It shows you're dedicated to ignoring distractions and letting your quietness be more powerful than talking. Let's see. How many are willing to take this step toward real inner strength? Are you ready? Calm, friends. Let's begin. Okay? You might be thinking, okay, I understand. Being quiet is the way to handle their ego. But then you might worry that just being quiet will make things worse. Things are going badly, and you're absolutely correct. The initial step is to attempt a conversation and find a solution together. However, what happens when you've already done that, and the situation continues to deteriorate? That's precisely what we'll explore further. The idea that staying quiet will fix everything is manipulative. We're not interested in using silence to hurt someone. Instead, we'll discuss a much more profound and positive method of change. This goes beyond simply damaging their pride. It's about demonstrating your real value and making others understand how important you are, even when things are chaotic. You do this by creating a situation where they miss you, not because you're intentionally ignoring them, but because your absence gives them a taste of what life is like without you, a life they find undesirable. Here's a real-world example. Picture yourself in a romantic relationship where you're always working to fix problems and improve communication, but every effort feels futile. You've talked and talked, tried every solution, but nothing improves. This is when staying quiet can be helpful, not to end things, but to take a powerful break. I have a friend who was in a similar spot. She chose to withdraw, not angrily, but to think quietly. She wasn't trying to punish her partner by being silent, but to give him time to understand what he might be missing. Eventually, he noticed the emptiness she left behind, and only then did he start to value what he had. He had assumed, as the wise thinker Rumi stated, that quietness is God's way of speaking, and everything else is a weak interpretation. This isn't simply about making someone long for your presence, but about giving them a chance to view you differently, to recognize your worth, and to move past trivial disagreements. When you embrace silence, with the goal of personal growth and self-esteem, it becomes a strong instrument for positive change, not only for the other person, but also for yourself. So please click the like button on this video, because when you like this video, YouTube will show it to more people who are looking for help, and by doing so, you're taking charge of helping others. And trust me, when you take the charge of helping others, you'll see the universe taking the charge of helping you. Now, let's move toward understanding how this silence combined with the right mindset and actions can turn the tide into. In your favor, number 1, be present but say less so. Folks, the first thing you need to understand is that completely drifting away isn't the solution. In fact, it could make things worse. The goal isn't to vanish, but to create a subtle shift in how you engage. The strategy here is to be present, but say less. Be there, but be a little low on initiating contact, making new plans, or responding right away to their messages. This isn't about playing hard to get. It's about allowing space for them to realize the value of your presence. Imagine you're in a relationship where communication has become routine. Maybe it's a romantic relationship, or perhaps it's a close friendship, or even a professional partnership. You're always the one to reach out to check in to keep the connection alive. But what happens when you start to pull back just a bit? Not completely, but just enough to create a noticeable shift. You're still there, but your energy isn't as readily available. You're not rushing to reply to their texts, not the first to suggest plans. This small change can have a profound impact. Think of it like this. If you're constantly filling up their glass with water, they'll never notice when it's empty. But if you stop filling it up so frequently, they'll start to notice when it's running low, and they might just begin to appreciate that water a lot more. The same goes for your presence. By not being the one to always initiate, you give them the chance to realize how much they miss that part of you. This can apply to any relationship, romantic friendship, or professional. Let me give you an example. A friend of mine was in a long-term relationship where she always made the plans, dinners, trips, even small weekend activities. She noticed that her partner had started to take her efforts for granted. So she decided to pull back just a little. She didn't stop making plans entirely. She just waited for him to take the initiative. At first, it felt uncomfortable for her because she was used to being the one in control of their social calendar. But over time, something interesting happened. He started to notice her absence in the planning and began to step up, taking more initiative and valuing the time they spent together more deeply. This approach can be applied in various relationships. If you're always the one checking in on a friend, try letting them come to you. If you're the one always smoothing things over at work, let others take the lead. Sometimes by being present, but saying less, you allow others to fill the gap, to appreciate what you bring to the table. But what if you find it hard? What if your instinct is to always be available? Always be the one to keep things moving. This is where the practice of restraint comes into play. It's not about abandoning the relationship or being cold. It's about giving yourself and the another person space to breathe. Start small. Maybe delay your response to a message by a few minutes, or instead of suggesting a plan, wait to see if they will. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but remember that growth often happens in discomfort. If you're struggling with this, Remind yourself of what Epicus once said. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak in this case. Consider it as listening to the silence, allowing it to create a space where appreciation and respect can grow. Silence doesn't have to mean disconnection. It can be a form of communication. It can be a form of communication itself. It can show that you value yourself enough to not always be the one chasing to let things come to you naturally. Here's another real-life example. A colleague of mine was always the one to offer solutions in team meetings. She was known for her quick thinking and problem-solving skills. But over time, her contributions were taken for granted, so she decided to step back and listen, more offering her thoughts, only when absolutely necessary. This change didn't go unnoticed. Her colleagues began to realize the value of her insights and started seeking her opinion more actively, appreciating her contributions more than before. Incorporating this strategy into your relationship means allowing the other person to take the lead sometimes, to let them realize that your presence isn't something to be taken for granted. It's about creating a healthy balance where your value is recognized without you having to constantly prove it. If you find it difficult to adopt this approach, start with small steps. You don't have to make drastic changes overnight. Begin by setting small boundaries, whether it's waiting a bit longer to respond to a message or allowing someone else to make the plans. These small shifts can lead to big changes in how you're perceived and how the relationship evolves. And folks, here's something important to keep in mind. This strategy is not about manipulating. It's about self-respect and creating. And it's about self-respect and creating an environment where your presence is valued by being present, but saying less. You're allowing the other person to step up to fill the space that you've intentionally left open. This not only helps them appreciate you more, but also gives you the peace of mind that you're not overextending yourself in the relationship. So, take a deep breath and remember that you have the power to create the dynamic you want in your relationships. It's okay to step back a little, to let silence do some of the talking, and to let your presence speak volumes without having to always fill the space with words or actions. If you're ready to embrace this powerful shift and make it work in your favor, let's declare it together. My silence is my strength. This isn't just a statement. It's a commitment to rising above the noise, to letting your silence speak louder than words, and to valuing yourself in every relationship and friends. Before we dive into the next strategy, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. If everything is clear so far, this video definitely deserves a like, so go ahead and hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And remember, this is just the first of 9 powerful strategies to truly see the impact. You'll need to apply all of them, so stick with me, because today is the day you start making these changes. That will transform your relationships. Number 2, stay calm. When they expect chaos, one of the most powerful things you can do in a relationship, whether it's with your husband, wife, or a close partner, is to remain calm when the other person expects you to react with chaos. Imagine this: tensions are high, emotions are running wild, and your partner is waiting for you to explode, to argue, or to lose control. But instead you remain calm, composed, and unshaken. This unexpected reaction can completely disarm them and shift the entire dynamic of the situation. Let's consider a situation where you're in a romantic relationship and arguments have become frequent. Your partner knows exactly how to push your buttons and is used to seeing you react with frustration or anger. But what if, instead of giving them the reaction they expect, you choose to stay calm? You take a deep breath, listen carefully, and respond with measured words. This calmness can be unsettling to someone who's used to chaos. It's like throwing water on a fire. They don't know how to keep the flames going if you refuse to fuel them. Staying calm Doesn't mean you're indifferent or that you don't care. On the contrary. It shows a deep level of self-control and emotional intelligence when you remain calm in the face of chaos. You're demonstrating that you're not easily manipulated or thrown off balance. This can be incredibly empowering, not just for you, but for the relationship as well. It sets a tone of respect and maturity that can help diffuse tense situations and open the door to more constructive communication. Now consider a close friendship where emotions run high. Perhaps you've had a disagreement, and your friend is ready for a heated exchange, expecting you to match their intensity. But instead of escalating the situation, you choose to remain calm. You focus on listening and understanding rather than reacting. Your calmness might initially confuse them, but it also forces them to mirror your composure, leading to a more productive conversation, and ultimately, a stronger friendship. This approach is powerful because it takes away the fuel that drives conflict when others expect you to react with chaos, and you don't. They're left with their own emotions to deal with. This can lead to a shift in how they see you and how they interact with you in the future. They begin to understand that you're not someone who can be easily rattled, and that demands a new level of respect. If you find it challenging to stay calm in such situations, remember the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, who said you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Staying calm is a choice, a demonstration of your inner strength, and a reminder that you control your reactions, not the chaos around you. So next time you find yourself in a situation with your partner or friend where chaos seems inevitable, take a deep breath, center yourself, and choose calm. Let your calmness be your strength, a quiet yet powerful response that shifts the energy in your favor. Embrace this approach, and you'll find that staying calm when they expect chaos not only helps you maintain your peace, but also transforms the dynamics of your relationships. Number 3. Let them wonder what you're up to now. Let's dive into the second strategy. Let them wonder what you're up to. This isn't about playing mind games. It's about cultivating a sense of intrigue and mystery that draws people toward you without you having to say a word. You see, in any relationship, whether it's romantic friendship or even professional, people often get comfortable when they think they have you all figured out. They start to take your presence, your routine, and your efforts for granted. But when you introduce a bit of mystery, when you step back and let them wonder what you're up to, something powerful happens. Their curiosity grows, and they begin to realize they don't know as much about you as they thought. Imagine you're in a relationship where every detail of your day is shared. Every plan is laid out, and there's little room for surprise over time. This routine can become predictable, and predictability often leads to complacency. But what if, instead of always sharing your every move, you started to keep a few things to yourself? You don't have to go silent or distant, but just hold back a bit of your daily narrative. This subtle shift can make them start to wonder, what are they up to? Or why didn't they mention this? This wonder can reignite a spark of curiosity and interest that keeps the relationship fresh and engaging. Take, for example, a couple I know who had been together for several years. They shared everything with each other. Every plan, every thought, every feeling. While this level of openness can be healthy, it had reached a point where there were no surprises. The relationship began to feel stagnant, predictable, and a bit too routine. So one partner decided to introduce a bit of mystery. She didn't start withholding important information or creating distance. She simply began to share a little less. She took up new hobbies, met new people, and didn't always immediately share every detail with her partner. At first, her partner was confused. He wasn't used to not knowing every detail of her day. But soon his curiosity turned into intrigue. He found himself more interested in her life, more eager to learn about her day when she chose to share. It wasn't long before he realized how much he'd been taking her for granted and how much he appreciated learning new things about her. This subtle change brought a renewed sense of excitement and connection to their relationship. The key here is balance. You're not trying to create distance or make the other person feel left out. Instead, you're allowing them to rediscover the mystery and intrigue that comes naturally when two people aren't completely enmeshed. It's about letting them see that there are parts of you that are still unfolding, still evolving, and that they don't have you entirely figured out. This is particularly powerful in long-term relationships, where routine can sometimes overshadow the excitement that comes from discovering new things about each other. But what if you're someone who finds it difficult to keep things to yourself? What if you're naturally an open book, always eager to share every detail with those you care about? This is where the practice of self-restraint comes in. It doesn't mean you have to change who you are, but rather it's about being intentional with what you choose to share, and when start by holding back on the small things. Maybe you try a new activity or learn something new, and instead of immediately sharing it, you wait until the right moment. This can create a sense of anticipation and curiosity that keeps the other person engaged. The philosopher Aristotle once said, "The more you know, the more you realize you don't know by letting them wonder what you're up to." You're not creating distance. You're creating a space for curiosity to grow. You're reminding them that you're still a person with your own life, your own interests, and your own journey, and that's incredibly attractive. This strategy can be applied in any type of relationship and friendships. It can mean not always being the first to share your news, letting your friends come to you with curiosity in professional settings. It can mean allowing your work to speak for itself, letting others wonder about the projects you're involved in. This subtle air of mystery keeps you intriguing, keeps others invested in getting to know you more deeply. If you find this difficult, remind yourself of the benefits of creating space in your relationships. This isn't about being secretive or distant. It's about giving others the opportunity to see you in a new light, to discover aspects of you that they may have overlooked or taken for granted. By letting them wonder, you're allowing them to appreciate you more fully. And here's something important. This strategy isn't about playing games or manipulating the other person's emotions. It's about maintaining a healthy sense of individuality within your relationships. It's about allowing yourself to grow and evolve and letting others be intrigued by that growth. It's about showing that you're more than just the sum of your shared experiences. You're a person with depth, with layers, and with a life that continues to unfold. So take a moment to reflect on how you can incorporate this strategy into your relationships. Maybe it's by holding back just a little, by not always being the first to share, or by allowing others to come to you with curiosity. Remember, when you let them wonder what you're up to, you're not just creating intrigue, you're creating a deeper connection that's based on mutual respect and genuine interest. And if you're ready to embrace this shift, let's declare it together. My silence is my strength. This isn't just a phrase. It's a commitment to cultivating mystery, to allowing curiosity to grow, and to letting your presence be felt, even when you're not always sharing every detail. Number 4, let your actions surprise them. One of the most powerful ways to shift the dynamic in any relationship is to let your actions speak louder than words, and even more so, to let those actions surprise them. When people get used to a certain version of you, they start to anticipate your moves, sometimes even taking you for granted. But when you break away from the expected and do something unexpected, you create a ripple effect that can be both eye-opening and transformative. Imagine you're in a situation where your partner, friend, or In a situation where your partner, friend, even a colleague thinks they've got you all figured out. They know what you'll say, how you'll react, and what you'll do next. This predictability can lead to a kind of complacency where they stop appreciating the effort you put into the relationship. But what if, instead of following the same old patterns, you did something different? Something that catches them off guard in a positive way. For example, let's say you're in a relationship where you're always the one who apologizes first after an argument. Even when you're not at fault. It's become expected, and maybe your partner has started to take that for granted. But what if, instead of offering the usual apology, you decided to do something different? Maybe you don't apologize immediately, and instead you take some time to reflect, and then come back with a thoughtful conversation about how you both can improve communication. Or perhaps instead of the expected apology, you surprise them with an unexpected act of kindness, something that shows you care without falling into the predictable routine. This element of surprise doesn't have to be grand or dramatic. It's about doing something that's unexpected but meaningful. It could be as simple as taking initiative in a way you haven't before, stepping outside your comfort zone, or showing a side of yourself that they haven't seen in a while or ever. The key is to act in a way that aligns with your values and goals, but that also breaks the mold of what others have come to expect from you. Consider the story of a friend who was always seen as the quiet, reserved type at work. Her colleagues had put her in a box, expecting her to stay in the background during meetings. But one day, she decided to take the lead on a project that she was passionate about. She presented her ideas with confidence, and her colleagues were taken aback in a good way. This unexpected action not only earned her respect, but also shifted how her colleagues viewed her role in the team. They began to see her as a leader, someone who could take charge and make things happen, all because she surprised them with an action they didn't see coming. When you let your actions surprise people, you're showing them that you're not a one-dimensional character in their lives. You're dynamic, evolving, and capable of growth. This can reignite interest, respect, and appreciation in your relationships. It challenges the status quo and reminds others that you're not to be taken for granted. But what if you're worried that stepping out of the norm might backfire? What if the surprise doesn't land the way you hope? This is where the power of intention comes in. If your actions are rooted in sincerity, self-respect, and a desire for positive change, even if they don't lead to immediate praise or recognition, they will still have a lasting impact. Remember, it's not about performing for others. It's about aligning your actions with your true self and letting those actions speak for you. So as you consider how to let your actions surprise those around you, think about what they've come to expect from you, and then think about how you can gently yet powerfully challenge those expectations, whether it's in a relationship, friendship, or professional setting. Let your actions be the spark that reignites the connection and makes them see you in a new light. And as you take this step, remember, my silence is my strength. Let this be your guiding mantra as you navigate the balance between silence and action. And watch how those unexpected moves can transform your relationships for the better. Number 5, step back to let them come forward in relationships. Whether with a partner or a close friend, it's easy to fall into a pattern where one person is always the one initiating, making plans, starting conversations, or resolving conflicts. But sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to step back and allow the other person to come forward. This isn't about creating distance or playing games. It's about giving them the space to realize their role in the relationship and to step up. Imagine you're in a relationship where you've always been the one driving the connection action. You're the one who texts, first makes the plans, and keeps things moving forward over time. This can create an imbalance where the other person becomes too comfortable, relying on you to maintain the bond. But what if you stepped back? Not in a way that causes concern, but just enough to let them feel the shift by stepping back. You give them the opportunity to take the lead to show that they value the relationship as much as you do. It allows them to make the next move, to reach out, and to invest in the connection. This subtle shift can lead to a more balanced relationship, where both people are equally engaged. This isn't about withholding your affection or support. It's about fostering a healthy dynamic, where both parties have the chance to contribute by stepping back. You create space for them to come forward, strengthening the bond in a way that's mutual and empowering, as the saying goes. Sometimes you have to step back to see the bigger picture in relationships. Stepping back can allow others to step up, creating a deeper, more balanced connection. Number 6, give short, clear responses in relationships. Communication is key, but how you communicate can make all the difference. One powerful strategy is to give short, clear responses, especially when emotions are running high or when you sense that the other person is expecting a lengthy reaction. This approach isn't about being dismissive or cold. It's about being direct and leaving little room for misunderstandings. Imagine you're in a situation where your partner or close friend is trying to engage you in a heated discussion. They might be looking for a long emotional response from you, something they can latch onto or use to fuel the conversation. But instead you choose to respond with calm, concise words. You acknowledge their feelings, but you don't get drawn into a lengthy back and forth. This not only keeps the conversation focused, but also prevents it from escalating into something more intense than it needs to be. Giving short, clear responses can be especially effective when dealing with sensitive topics. By being straightforward, you reduce the chances of your words being misinterpreted or taken out of context. It also sends a message that you're confident in your stance and that you're not easily swayed by emotional pressure. This strategy works well in both romantic and platonic relationships. For example, if a friend tries to draw you into drama, a simple, "I understand how you feel, but I think we should move on from this," can be incredibly powerful. It shows that you're listening, but you're also setting boundaries. As the Stoic philosopher Epicurus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." By giving short, clear responses, you're taking control of the conversation, maintaining your comp, assuring that communication remains effective and respectful. Number 7, pause before you respond. In any relationship, taking a moment to pause before you respond can be one of the most powerful tools in your communication arsenal. This simple act of pausing allows you to gather your thoughts, consider your words carefully, and avoid reacting impulsively, especially in emotionally charged situations. Imagine you're in a conversation with your partner or a close friend, and something they say catches you off guard or stirs up strong emotions. Your instinct might be to respond immediately, driven by emotion rather than reason. But what if you took a brief pause? Instead, this moment of silence, even if it's just a few seconds, can give you the space to breathe, think clearly, and choose your words wisely. Pausing before you respond shows that you're thoughtful and intentional in your communication. It demonstrates that you value the conversation enough to give it your full consideration, rather than just reacting on impulse. This approach can help diffuse potential conflicts before they escalate and lead to more constructive, meaningful discussions. For instance, if your spouse makes a comment that could easily trigger an argument, a pause allows you to assess the situation calmly. You might realize that the comment wasn't as hurtful as it initially seemed, or that your response could be better phrased to avoid misunderstanding. By taking a moment to think, you're more likely to respond in a way that keeps the conversation respectful and productive. As the saying goes, think before you speak. Pausing before you respond embodies this wisdom ensuring that your words are measured and your intentions are clear. It's a small but significant way to maintain harmony and understanding in your relationships, fostering deeper connection and mutual respect. Number 8, keep your plans to yourself. In relationships, a little mystery can go a long way. One effective strategy is to keep your hands to yourself, especially when it comes to personal goals or activities that don't necessarily involve your partner or close friends. This doesn't mean being secretive or hiding things. Rather, it's about maintaining a sense of independence and allowing your partner to be curious about your life. Imagine you're working on a personal project or have plans to pursue a new hobby. Instead of sharing every detail with your partner or friends, right away, consider keeping some of it to yourself. This approach not only builds intrigue, but also allows you to focus on your own growth without feeling the need for external validation or approval. Keeping your plans to yourself can also prevent unnecessary pressure or expectations from others. For example, if you're considering a new career move or trying something out of your comfort zone, sharing too soon might lead to unsolicited advice or opinions that could sway your decisions. By keeping your plans private until you're ready to share, you maintain control over your choices and protect your goals from outside influence. This strategy is particularly useful in romantic relationships. If your partner is used to knowing every detail of your day-to-day life, introducing a bit of mystery can reignite their interest and curiosity. They may find themselves more drawn to you, wanting to learn more about what you're up to and appreciating the aspects of your life that are uniquely yours. As the saying goes, the less you reveal, the more people can wonder. Keeping your plans to yourself fosters a healthy balance of independence and connection, allowing your relationships to thrive on mutual respect and admiration. Number 9, use eye contact instead of words in any relationship. Communication isn't just about what you say. It's also about how you convey your feelings and intentions. One of the most powerful, yet often overlooked forms of communication is eye contact. Using eye contact instead of words can convey a depth of emotion and understanding that words sometimes can't match. Imagine you're in a moment of tension or disagreement with your partner or a close friend. Instead of rushing to fill the silence with words, try holding their gaze. Eye contact can express empathy, strength, and connection without a single word being spoken. It shows that you're fully present, engaged, and connected with them on a deeper level. In moments of conflict, a calm, steady gaze can diffuse anger and bring a sense of calm to the conversation. It can signal that you're not there to fight, but to understand and resolve the issue together. Eye contact isn't just powerful in moments of conflict. It's equally effective in positive interactions. When you're sharing a special moment with someone you care about, maintaining eye contact can amplify the connection. It can make them feel truly seen, appreciated, and valued. For example, during an intimate conversation with your spouse or partner, looking directly into their eyes while they speak can make them feel heard and understood on a deeper level. It's a simple yet profound way to strengthen the bond between you. As the saying goes, the eyes are the window to the soul. By using eye contact instead of words, you tap into a universal language that can convey love, trust, and understanding in ways that words sometimes fail to do. It's a powerful tool to enhance your relationships and deepen your emotional connections. If you found value in this video, go ahead and subscribe, and comment to support the channel. Your engagement helps us grow and reach more people who could benefit from these insights. Now, if you've made it this far, I've got a little task for you to let me know you're fully committed to mastering these strategies. Drop the phrase "use eye contact" in the comments below. This simple act will not only show that you're taking these lessons to heart, but it will also reinforce the power of connection in our community. Remember, these strategies are not just about improving your relationships. They're about enhancing your own sense of self-worth, confidence, and emotional intelligence. By stepping back, giving space, and communicating more effectively, you're setting the stage for deeper, more meaningful connections that stand the test of time. Thank you for joining me on this journey of self-discovery and growth. I'm looking forward to seeing your comments and hearing how these strategies are making a difference in your life. Stay strong, stay connected, and remember, your silence, your calm, and your presence are your greatest strengths. Until next time, keep rising above and let your actions speak louder than words.